Your muscles are weakening. Watch the full video to learn more. We're talking about a reality that many people in their 80s face daily, yet often dismiss or accept as an unavoidable part of aging. It's that feeling that your physical strength isn't what it used to be. It's when simple actions like standing up from a chair, walking steadily, or maintaining your balance suddenly require noticeably more effort. This isn't just getting older. It's a clear sign of sarcopenia, a biological process that is silently eroding your core muscle strength. Let's be direct about this truth. Sarcopenia doesn't just make you feel weaker. It is a significant threat to your independence and your safety. Every bit of muscle mass lost incrementally increases your risk of falling. And a fall at this age, as we are all aware, can trigger severe consequences, debilitating fractures, prolonged bed rest, a loss of autonomy, and often, a cascade of further health complications. Sarcopenia undermines not only your physical capabilities, but also your confidence, fostering fear and the specter of dependency. The underlying worry about becoming a burden to loved ones, the anxiety surrounding the loss of control over one's own life, the feeling that your world is gradually shrinking due to physical limitations. These are the heavy psychological weights that sarcopenia imposes, sometimes weighing more heavily than the physical decline itself. Is this truly the scenario you envisioned for your valuable later years? But the most crucial message for you today is this condition can be actively managed and improved. Modern science has advanced significantly. Credible research worldwide has definitively shown that muscle loss is not an irreversible, one-way path. Even in your 80s, your body retains a remarkable capacity to respond, adapt, and rebuild strength, provided it receives the correct stimulus and support. What does that entail? It involves specific, actionable strategies, methods validated by scientific evidence, that can help you not only slow the decline, but potentially recover a meaningful portion of the strength you may have lost. The time for passive acceptance is over. The time for proactive steps is now. Let's explore these science-backed methods together, empowering you to regain control over your physical health and safeguard your independence. We've established the challenge. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, is a serious threat to your health and independence. But we've also established hope. This decline is not an irreversible fate. Science has illuminated clear pathways not just to slow muscle loss, but potentially even to rebuild strength. It requires a deliberate, informed approach. Let's move beyond passive acceptance and explore the 7 core habits that truly make a difference, starting with one that might surprise you. Habit 70: harnessing hormetic stress, turning brief challenges into strength signals. This might sound counterintuitive. We often think of stress as purely negative, something to be avoided at all costs, especially as we age. However, there's a fascinating biological principle called hormesis. Think of it like this: while high doses of a substance or stressor can be toxic, very small, controlled doses can actually trigger beneficial adaptive responses in your body. It's the scientific version of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and it applies powerfully to muscle health. Super-agers, those individuals who defy typical aging patterns, often unknowingly, or sometimes deliberately, expose themselves to specific, brief stressors that activate powerful cellular defense and repair mechanisms. These aren't chronic, draining stresses like financial worry or relationship problems. These are short, sharp challenges that signal to your cells: strengthen the defenses. Prepare for action. What are these beneficial hormetic stressors? Research highlights 3 key types relevant to muscle preservation. Temperature variation: brief exposure to either cold or heat can work wonders. Cold exposure: this doesn't mean enduring icy conditions for hours. Simple practices like finishing your warm shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water, or even brief cold plunges if accessible and safe for you, can activate beneficial processes. Cold stimulates brown fat, a metabolically active fat, increases mitochondrial biogenesis, the creation of new cellular powerhouses in your muscles, and triggers the release of adiponectin, a hormone shown to protect muscle tissue from breaking down. Start gradually. Even 15-20 seconds of cold water is a start. The key is the brief shock followed by a return to normal temperature. Heat exposure: saunas or hot tubs offer similar benefits through a different mechanism. Heat activates heat shock proteins within your cells. These proteins act like cellular chaperones, protecting muscle cells from damage, helping repair existing damage, and promoting resilience. A compelling Finnish study tracked individuals over years and found that regular sauna use, defined as 4-7 times per week, though benefits likely start with less frequency, was associated with 40% less muscle loss compared to non-sauna users. Again, the duration should be manageable, typically 15-20 minutes, followed by adequate cooling and hydration. Always check with your doctor before starting sauna use, especially if you have cardiovascular conditions. Intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating. This isn't about drastic calorie cutting for weight loss. For muscle quality, super-agers often practice time-restricted eating, confining their food intake to a specific window each day, typically 8 to 10 hours. For example, eating only between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., or 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. This daily fasting period gives your body a break from constant digestion and triggers autophagy, a crucial cellular cleansing process where damaged components within cells, including muscle cells, are removed and recycled. This improves overall cellular efficiency and, according to research from the Salk Institute, can enhance mitochondrial function in muscles by as much as 10% in just 12 weeks, leading to better energy production and muscle quality. Choose a window that fits your lifestyle and ensure you are still consuming adequate nutrients and calories within that time frame. Intense, brief muscle contractions, overcoming isometrics. This involves pushing or pulling against an immovable object with maximum effort for very short bursts, typically 5 to 10 seconds. Imagine pushing against a solid wall as hard as you can, or trying to pull apart a firmly fixed bar. These brief, maximal efforts send powerful signals to your muscle cells to stay large, active, and strong without imposing the high joint stress that can come with lifting very heavy weights through a full range of motion. It's about the intensity of the signal, not the duration or movement. A few repetitions of maximal effort on different muscle groups can be surprisingly effective. The magic of hormesis lies in its intermittent nature. These stressors must be brief and followed by ample recovery time. When applied correctly, these controlled challenges activate longevity pathways and genes, like FOXOs and sirtuins, which play a key role in maintaining cellular health, including preserving muscle mass as we age. The key is to start slowly, listen to your body, and gradually increase the intensity or duration as you build tolerance. You're aiming for gentle, beneficial stress, not overwhelming your system. Habit 6. The protein timing strategy, unlocking anabolic potential. We touched on this briefly, but its importance cannot be overstated. While how much protein you eat is critical, science increasingly shows that when you consume it might be even more crucial for overcoming age-related muscle loss. As mentioned, our bodies develop anabolic resistance with age, meaning our muscles need a stronger signal from protein intake to initiate growth and repair. The common mistake: consuming the bulk of the day's protein in one large evening meal, while having minimal protein at breakfast or lunch, like simple toast or a small salad. This pattern leaves your muscles starved for building blocks for large portions of the day, effectively missing multiple windows of opportunity for muscle protein synthesis. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition highlights the flaw in this all-at-once approach for seniors. Your muscles have a heightened ability to synthesize protein for roughly 3 to 4 hours following a protein-rich meal. If you only provide that significant protein dose once a day, you're only capitalizing on one synthesis window. The optimal strategy: distribute your protein intake evenly across your main meals. Aim for approximately 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast instead of just cereal or toast. Think eggs. Around 4-5 eggs provide this amount. A large serving of Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a smoothie fortified with protein powder, whey, casein, or plant-based options. Lunch and dinner focus on lean meats: chicken breast, turkey, fish, salmon, tuna, lean beef, or substantial servings of plant-based sources like lentils, beans, tofu, or edamame. This scheduling alone, without changing the total amount of protein consumed daily, can significantly enhance muscle protein synthesis, studies suggest by up to 25%. A landmark 12 Weak study from the University of Texas demonstrated this. Powered participants who followed this protein distribution pattern gained an average of 1.2 pounds of lean muscle mass without changing any other aspect of their exercise or lifestyle. The takeaway is clear: if you want your muscles to have the best chance to repair, rebuild, and grow stronger, or even just to slow down their decline, you need to feed them consistently throughout the day. It's not enough just to eat protein. When you eat it, makes a profound difference. Think of it as providing a steady stream of construction materials to the building site, your muscles, throughout the workday, rather than dumping all the bricks and mortar at closing time. Habit 50. Optimizing vitamin D levels, the unsung muscle vitamin. Did you know that a staggering 80% or more of the elderly population is deficient in a nutrient often called the muscle vitamin? We're talking about vitamin D. Its deficiency is a silent epidemic among seniors, quietly sabotaging strength and function. Most people associate vitamin D with bone health, which is certainly true, but its role extends far beyond calcium absorption. Groundbreaking research, including work from Harvard University, has revealed that vitamin D plays a direct role in activating genes within your muscle cells that are responsible for muscle growth and protein synthesis. Your muscle cells literally have vitamin D receptors, VDRs. When vitamin D binds to these receptors, it triggers a cascade of intracellular processes essential for building and maintaining muscle mass and strength. The impact is significant. A pioneering study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that older adults with optimal vitamin D levels had 25% greater muscle strength compared to those with deficient levels. Furthermore, they exhibited markedly better reaction time, coordination, and balance, all critical factors in preventing falls, a major cause of injury and loss of independence in later life. So, what constitutes optimal levels? Deficiency is typically defined as blood levels below 20 nanograms per milliliter (ng/ml). Adequacy is often considered 30 ng/ml or higher. However, super-agers who seem to defy muscular aging almost invariably maintain levels above 40 ng/ml, often closer to 50 ng/ml. How can you achieve these optimal levels? Sunlight. While sunlight exposure allows our skin to synthesize vitamin D, this ability declines significantly with age. By age 65, your skin produces roughly 50% less vitamin D from the same amount of sun exposure compared to when you were 20. Relying solely on sunlight becomes insufficient for most seniors. Some foods contain vitamin D, like fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, egg yolks, and fortified dairy or plant milks, but it's very difficult to reach optimal levels through diet alone. Supplementation. For the vast majority of seniors, supplementation is necessary. The standard recommendation of 600 international units, IU, per day is often woefully inadequate to correct deficiency or reach optimal levels. Research suggests most seniors require 2,000 to 4,000 U per day to achieve and maintain levels above 40 ng/ml. However, this is highly individual. The only way to know your specific need is through a blood test, specifically a 25-hydroxyvitamin D test. Work with your doctor to get tested and determine the appropriate dosage for you. A crucial caveat: the vitamin K2 connection. Vitamin D works synergistically with vitamin K2. Vitamin D helps absorb calcium, but vitamin K2, found in fermented foods like natto, certain cheeses, and grass-fed animal products, helps direct that calcium to your bones and teeth, preventing it from accumulating in soft tissues like arteries. Supplementing with high doses of vitamin D without adequate K2 intake could potentially contribute to arterial calcification. Many experts now recommend taking vitamin K2, specifically the MK7 form, alongside vitamin D supplements, especially if taking higher doses. Discuss this interaction with your doctor. Don't underestimate the power of this single vitamin. Optimizing your vitamin D levels is a fundamental step in providing your muscles with the necessary signals to stay strong and functional. Get tested, supplement wisely under medical guidance, considering K2, and ensure this muscle vitamin is working for you, not against you. Habit 40. Managing daily inflammation, quenching the fires within. What's another common denominator among exceptionally strong older adults? Consistently low levels of chronic inflammation. Scientists have increasingly recognized that a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation, termed inflammaging, is a major driver of age-related muscle deterioration. This isn't the acute inflammation you experience with an injury, redness, swelling, which is a necessary part of healing. Inflammaging is a persistent, smoldering fire within the body that accelerates aging processes, including muscle breakdown. It tips the balance, causing muscle protein to be broken down faster than your body can rebuild it. But that's not all. Inflammation also directly interferes with the anabolic cellular muscle, building signals that should normally occur in response to exercise and protein intake. It essentially throws static on the communication lines, making your muscles less responsive to growth cues. A seminal study from Tufts University dramatically illustrated this. Seniors with the highest levels of inflammatory markers lost muscle mass 3 times faster than those with the lowest levels, independent of their protein intake or exercise habits. So, how do super-agers actively combat inflammaging? They employ several key anti-inflammatory tactics that most seniors overlook: prioritizing quality sleep. They maintain consistent sleep schedules, going to bed and waking up around the same time daily, and ensure their sleep environment is cool, dark, and quiet. Even partial sleep deprivation can increase inflammatory cytokines, signaling molecules, by as much as 40%, directly accelerating muscle breakdown. Aim for 7-9 hours of quality sleep per night. Nurturing gut health. Emerging research, including studies from the University of California, firmly links age-related changes in gut bacteria, the microbiome, to increased systemic inflammation. Super-agers actively cultivate a healthy gut by eating a wide diversity of plant foods. Aiming for 30 different types per week provides varied fibers to feed beneficial bacteria. Consuming fermented foods containing natural probiotics daily: yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi. Ensuring adequate fiber intake from various sources of vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains. Strategic exercise intensity. While regular movement is essential, excessive or overly intense exercise, especially without adequate recovery, can paradoxically increase inflammation in older adults. The typical super-ager engages in moderate intensity activity most days, like brisk walking, cycling, swimming, and incorporates brief, high-intensity intervals only once or twice a week, allowing ample recovery time. Consuming specific anti-inflammatory compounds. They regularly include foods and supplements known for their potent anti-inflammatory effects: omega-3 fatty acids, aiming for 2-3 grams per day, combined EPA and DHA from fatty fish, sea salmon, sardines, mackerel, or high-quality fish oil or algae oil supplements. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, known for its powerful anti-inflammatory properties, often taken as a supplement for higher concentrations. Polyphenol, rich foods: berries, blueberries, strawberries, green tea, dark chocolate in moderation, and extra virgin olive oil are packed with compounds that fight inflammation. You can get an idea of your own inflammation levels through a simple blood test called high-sensitivity C-reactive protein (CRP). While average seniors might have levels 3-5 times higher, super-agers typically maintain levels below 1.2 mg/L. Taking proactive steps to manage inflammation through sleep, gut health, smart exercise, and diet is a cornerstone of preserving muscle mass and overall vitality. Habit 3. Prioritizing specific micronutrients, the unsung heroes of muscle function. While macronutrients like protein get most of the attention, super-agers with exceptional strength understand the critical role of specific micronutrients, vitamins, and minerals that act as essential co-factors and facilitators for muscle function and protein synthesis. Think of them as the skilled technicians required to make the raw building materials, L-protein, and the construction plans, exercise signals, actually work effectively. Without adequate levels of these key players, even high protein intake and regular exercise may fail to prevent muscle loss. Which micronutrients are particularly crucial? Magnesium, the forgotten electrolyte, dubbed the forgotten electrolyte for muscle health by researchers. Magnesium deficiency is rampant, affecting over 70% of the elderly population. This mineral is vital for over 300 enzymatic reactions in the body, including those directly involved in muscle contraction, relaxation, energy production, and protein synthesis. A 2021 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed seniors with adequate magnesium levels had 30% stronger grip strength and significantly better physical performance scores compared to those with even mildly low levels. Super-agers prioritize magnesium-rich foods daily: dark leafy greens like spinach and kale, nuts, seeds, legumes, dark chocolate, and often supplement with highly bioavailable forms like magnesium glycinate or threonates, avoiding the poorly absorbed magnesium oxide found in many cheap supplements. Creatine, not just for young bodybuilders. Creatine is one of the most extensively studied supplements for muscle health, yet many seniors mistakenly believe it's only for athletes. Research, including meta-analyses from institutions like McMaster University, consistently shows that creatine supplementation significantly enhances muscle mass, strength, and even cognitive function in older adults when combined with resistance training, compared to training alone. It works by increasing the availability of quick energy, ATP within muscle cells and drawing more water into them, creating a more anabolic muscle building environment. A daily dose of 3 to 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, the most studied and effective form, is generally recommended and considered very safe for long-term use. Methylated vitamin B12, the active form matters as we age. Stomach acid production often declines, impairing our ability to absorb vitamin B12 from food. To make matters worse, common medications like metformin Sevil for diabetes and proton pump inhibitors PPIs for acid reflux significantly deplete this crucial vitamin. B12 is essential for nerve function, remember those neuromuscular connections, and energy production within muscle cells. A deficiency directly impacts muscle performance. Super-agers often bypass potential absorption issues by supplementing with the active, methylated form S-methylcobalamin rather than the cheaper, inactive cyanocobalamin found in many standard multivitamins. Mineral co-factors zinc, selenium, chromium. These trace minerals play critical supporting roles. Zinc is essential for protein synthesis and cell growth. Selenium is a key component of antioxidant enzymes that protect muscle cells from damage. Chromium helps improve insulin sensitivity, which is vital for transporting nutrients like glucose and amino acids into muscle tissue. A comprehensive study from Tufts University found that optimal levels of these trace minerals were associated with a 22% better maintenance of muscle mass over a 5-year period. The key takeaway here is targeted supplementation based on need, rather than relying on a generic multivitamin that might provide inadequate amounts or poorly absorbed forms. Super-agers often utilize micronutrient testing, blood tests, to identify their specific deficiencies and supplement accordingly. This personalized approach ensures they are getting what they truly need without wasting money on unnecessary supplements. Habit Twin A. Preserving your neuromuscular connections, keeping the brain-muscle hotline open. Here's a fascinating fact: most seniors aren't aware of muscle loss isn't just about the muscle fibers themselves shrinking. Often, the weakest link is the connection between your nervous system and your muscles, the neuromuscular junction, NMJ. Think of the NMJ as the electrical outlet where the nerve plugs into the muscle to deliver the signal to contract. These crucial junctions naturally start to degenerate faster after age 60. When this communication pathway breaks down, it doesn't matter how much protein you eat or how much you exercise, the brain's signal simply can't reach the muscle effectively, leading to weakness and poor coordination. Exciting research, including studies from the University of Michigan, shows that exceptionally strong super-agers possess significantly healthier and more numerous neuromuscular junctions compared to their average peers. Even more encouragingly, scientists have identified specific habits that can help preserve and potentially even repair these vital connections: coordination in precision exercises, engaging in activities that require coordinating complex movement patterns, and precise execution actively strengthens the neural pathways to your muscles. Think beyond simple walking or basic strength training. Activities like Tai Chi, dancing, various styles, tennis, pickleball, or even ping pong challenge your nervous system to recruit muscle fibers in specific, intricate sequences. A 2020 study demonstrated that older adults participating in coordination, demanding activities twice weekly preserved their neuromuscular connections 31% better than those who only performed conventional exercise. The focus is on learning and refining skilled movements. Targeted neuroprotective compounds. Certain supplements show promise in protecting the NMJ from age-related damage. Alpha lipoic acids ELLA and acetyl L-carnitines L-car, these two nutrients, often taken together, appear to protect the MMJ from oxidative stress and improve mitochondrial function within both nerve and muscle cells. Specific B vitamin forms benfotiaminin. This is a fat-soluble form of vitamin B1's thiamine that has better bioavailability and appears particularly beneficial for nerve health. Acetylcholine boosters, huperzine A. Acetylcholine is the primary neurotransmitter responsible for muscle activation at the MMJ. Huperzine A, derived from Chinese club moss, can help increase acetylcholine levels by inhibiting the enzyme that breaks it down. As always, discuss supplements with your doctor, especially if taking other medications. Vagus nerve stimulations via breathing. The vagus nerve is a major communication highway in your nervous system that plays a role in regulating neuromuscular transmission. Simple, controlled breathing techniques can stimulate the vagus nerve. One effective method is box breathing. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold your breath for 4, exhale slowly for 4, and hold the exhale for 4. Practicing this for just 5 minutes a day can potentially increase neural activation of muscles by as much as 15%. Cognitive challenge, the surprising brain-muscle link. Perhaps the most intriguing finding comes from research at Columbia University. Older adults who regularly engaged in cognitively demanding activities, learning new skills, complex puzzles, strategic games, showed significantly better preservation of muscle function. Why? The researchers theorize that the brain and the neuromuscular system share many neural pathways. Keeping the brain sharp and active through challenging mental pursuits appears to have a direct, positive spillover effect on maintaining those crucial brain-muscle connections. By actively working to preserve these neuromuscular junctions through targeted exercise, potential supplementation under guidance, mindful breathing, and cognitive engagement, super-agers ensure their brain can effectively communicate with their muscles, allowing them to recruit muscle fibers efficiently and maintain strength well into their 80s and beyond. Habit 1. Progressive resistance exercise, the undisputed champion of muscle preservation. We've finally arrived at the single most crucial, most impactful habit that separates exceptionally strong 80-year-olds from their peers. This is the strategy consistently identified by experts like those at Tufts University's renowned Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging as the most powerful anti-aging intervention ever discovered for maintaining physical function. It is progressive resistance exercise. But crucially, it's not resistance exercise as most seniors typically perform it. The super-agers whose strength defies their chronological age actively combat the biological process of muscle atrophy using targeted resistance training programs. They understand a fundamental truth that most older adults never learn or are afraid to embrace. Your muscles operate on a strict use it or lose it principle, but with a critical addition: to keep them, you must progressively challenge them. Simply going for walks, doing light water aerobics, or lifting the same small weights week after week, month after month, is insufficient to maintain, let alone build, muscle mass after age 60. Your muscles are incredibly adaptive. They get stronger only when forced to overcome a challenge slightly greater than what they are used to. If the challenge never increases, there's no signal for them to grow or even maintain their current size. How does the super-ager approach to resistance training differ? Intensity over duration. The focus isn't on spending hours in the gym. It's on achieving the right intensity during shorter sessions. Research from McMaster University showed that training to the point of transient muscle failure, the point where you literally cannot complete another repetition with proper form, produced greater muscle gains in seniors in just 2 weeks compared to 5 weeks of moderate intensity exercise. Reaching this point, even with lighter weights, sends powerful anabolic muscle building signals that can stimulate protein synthesis for up to 72 hours post-exercise. Emphasis on compound movements. While isolation exercises like bicep curls have their place, super-agers prioritize compound exercises that work multiple muscle groups simultaneously. Think modified versions suited to their mobility and joint health of squats, chair squats, goblet squats, works legs, glutes, core. Deadlifts, kettlebell deadlifts, resistance band deadlifts, works entire posterior chain, back legs. Rows, a seated rows, band rows, works back, biceps. Push-us wall, push-ups, incline push-ups, dumbbell presses, works chest, shoulders, triceps. Pulls lat pull-downs, pull-aparts, works back, biceps. These movements elicit a much stronger hormonal response conducive to muscle growth compared to isolation exercises. The principle of progressive overload. This is the absolute cornerstone. Because muscles adapt, you must continually find ways to make the exercises slightly more challenging over time. This doesn't always mean lifting heavier weight, though that's one way. Progression can also involve doing more repetitions with the same weight, doing more sets of the same exercise, reducing rest time between sets, improving form or range of motion. Super-agers diligently track their workouts and consistently aim to do just a little bit more than last time. Without progression, you plateau. Focus on the eccentrics, lowering phase. They often emphasize controlling the lowering portion of an exercise. For example, lowering a weight slowly, taking 3-4 seconds during a bicep curl or when coming down from a squat. This eccentric phase is known to cause significant muscle damage, a necessary stimulus for growth, and can be particularly effective for building strength in older adults, often with less joint strain than the lifting's concentric phase. The amazing news: it's never too late to start reaping the benefits. A revolutionary study from the University of Alabama took sedentary older adults and put them on a 12-week progressive resistance training program. The results were astounding. They increased their strength by an average of 35% and added an average of 3.3 pounds of lean muscle mass. Alongside these physical changes came improvements in cognitive function, bone density, and blood sugar control. So, what is the most common and potentially most damaging mistake seniors make regarding exercise? It's the belief that resistance training is too risky, too difficult, or something only for the young. The real danger lies in avoiding it. Without the strong stimulus of progressive resistance training, muscle loss accelerates, directly increasing the risk of frailty, falls, and the loss of independence that so many fear. If you implement only O&E habit from this entire discussion, make it progressive resistance training. Start slowly, perhaps consulting with a qualified trainer or physical therapist experienced with older adults to ensure proper form and an appropriate starting point. Aim for just 2 sessions per week, perhaps 30-45 minutes each, focusing on challenging your major muscle groups with controlled movements and striving for gradual improvement. This single habit has the power to fundamentally change your aging trajectory. There you have them, the 7 science-backed pillars that explain the remarkable strength and vitality seen in those who age exceptionally well. They leverage hormetic stress, optimize protein timing, ensure adequate vitamin D and key micronutrients, manage inflammation, preserve nerve, muscle communication, and critically, engage in progressive resistance training. It's a holistic approach where each habit supports the others, creating a powerful synergy for maintaining strength and independence throughout life. We have journeyed through the intricate science underpinning muscle health in later life. We've dissected the mechanisms behind sarcopenia and, more importantly, illuminated the evidence-based strategies that demonstrably counteract its progression. The critical takeaway from our discussion is unequivocal: significant age-related muscle decline is not an immutable sentence, but rather a physiological process that can be substantially influenced by informed, proactive measures. The 7 pillars we've explored, from harnessing hormetic stress and optimizing nutrient timing to managing inflammation and embracing progressive resistance training, are not mere suggestions. They represent validated interventions derived from rigorous scientific investigation. Understanding these principles places a powerful toolset at your disposal. It shifts the narrative from passive acceptance of decline to active participation in maintaining your functional capacity and physiological resilience. The path forward does not demand radical, overnight transformations. Instead, it calls for consistent, incremental application of these principles. Identify 1 or 2 strategies that resonate most strongly or seem most achievable within your current lifestyle, and begin there. Implement them thoughtfully, perhaps under the guidance of healthcare professionals or qualified trainers to ensure safety and efficacy. Each positive change, however small initially, contributes to a cumulative benefit over time. Consider this not merely as exercise or dietary adjustment, but as a direct investment in your future independence, mobility, and quality of life. The ability to navigate your daily activities with strength and confidence, to remain engaged with the world around you, and to minimize the risk of debilitating falls, these are the tangible rewards of prioritizing your muscular health. The potential for preserving and even enhancing strength well into your later decades is real and scientifically supported. The capacity for positive change resides within your physiology, Activating it requires knowledge, commitment, and consistent action. Begin that process today. Your future self will profoundly appreciate the investment you make now.